Hello, everyone, and welcome to this TD SYNNEX Cyber Range presentation. My name is Marianne Antonelli, and I am the Marketing Campaign Manager for the Emerging Accounts at TD SYNNEX Public Sector. We are very excited to bring to you our very own Cyber Range Master, Richard Gordon. Today, you are in for a treat. Not only will you get an overview of how you can be part of the Cyber Range family, but you'll also get a tour of our Cyber Range facility in Gilbert, Arizona. Next slide. But before we get started, let's just go over a few housekeeping items. Your lines will be muted for the duration of the webinar. However, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A or the chat field. This session will be recorded, and if you have any technical questions, please message Felicia directly in the chat, who will assist you with your question. Next slide. And now a brief introduction for today's speaker, Richard Gordon, our Cyber Range Master. Richard Gordon has been with TD SYNNEX for 19 years. He worked in the Global Solutions Center, supporting vendor solution onboarding and establishing integration practices for various offerings. Richard has spent 10 years as a field architect for a major vendor line, managing a team and enabling TD SYNNEX partners to bring solutions to market and support their customers. Richard joined the TD SYNNEX Cyber Range team in 2023 with a singular mission: enable vendors, partners, and customers to improve their cybersecurity policies, practices, and infrastructure. Richard holds multiple technical certifications, including Cisco CCIE. And by the way, you better follow him on YouTube channel. His handle is @RichTechGuy, where he produces tons of content, sharing technical insights, tutorials, and review. And without further ado, take it away, Richard.
All right, thank you. And welcome to the TD SYNNEX Cyber Range. So this is a facility that we have put together with a singular purpose in mind, and that is to move the needle of cybersecurity in a positive direction. And the way we go about doing that is by breaking away from the standard messaging that you hear in cybersecurity. That standard messaging, we hear it from everybody, is we'll throw some stats up on a slide, we'll talk about how terrible things are if you get breached, how much money it's going to cost you to resolve, how horrible the state of cybersecurity is, and you've probably already been hacked, you just don't know it yet, and then insert product or solution here and go on about your day. Well, what we want to do is we want to actually break out of that and create a more immersive experience. Now, that experience actually starts in the room I'm standing in right now, which is our reception area. So one of the things you may notice is the wall behind me is completely blank, and that is done with purpose. We can put pop-up banners. It is going to be a little bit off screen, but we do have some TV screens here. So when you come in here to utilize the Cyber Range as a place for you to showcase solutions to partners, to customers, you can make this space your own by bringing in the pop-up banners, putting the logos up on digital displays, and so on and so forth. The other thing that we are able to do is we are able to close off this area from the main space of the Cyber Range. So that way, when we are doing our activities in our main space, we will be able to have people step aside, they can take their phone calls, have their side conversations, and not disturb the activity that is going on. Now, speaking of that Cyber Range main space, we are about to move into that, so let's go. Okay, welcome to the TD SYNNEX Cyber Range. This is our main area here, and right now we've got our default layout that's actually laid out in 3 separate pods. So you see 2 of them right here, but the main purpose of this particular layout, which seats about 20 people, is the dirty secret of cybersecurity is everybody is terrible at cybersecurity and is afraid of being found out. So we have this particular layout, so that way, no matter where you sit, or wherever you stand in the room, you cannot read from more than 5 screens at any given time. That way people can feel safe and secure in their learning environment and not feel like the entire room is looking over their shoulder. So this default layout is, as I said, it seats about 20. We can scale up to about 40 people for a hands-on type presentation. We can even go all the way up to 100 if we're just doing a presentation style event. Now, as I mentioned, we are more involved in the immersive experience. We want to drive that immersive experience. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we'll bring people in here, and we might sit them down here at the stations, and we could even start with that standard cybersecurity presentation that everybody's so familiar with. And we'll put the stats up on the big projection behind me, and we'll talk about how terrible things are. And right around the point where we start seeing people's eyes glazing over, like, oh yeah, I've heard this a million times before, one of these screens will suddenly light up and say, your files are encrypted, you need to pay us Bitcoin. You might be hearing an alarm going on in the background. The lighting in the room has just gone all red. And at this point, we will be like, oh no, we've got a ransomware outbreak. We've got to respond to this. And everybody's frantically trying to figure out what to do, what's going on. Before you know it, every single computer in here is going to say, your files are encrypted, pay us Bitcoin. Okay, at this point, we'll be like, all right, that sucks. Okay, we really don't want that to happen in our own production environments. So let's refresh that. And in about 10 to 20 minutes, we can have everything back to normal. Only this time, what we will do is we will deploy a security solution. So that could be a security solution from any of our TD SYNNEX vendors. Here at TD SYNNEX, we are the world's largest distributor of technology. And so we support a wide range of vendor solutions. So let's say in this particular instance, we're fighting ransomware. We want to have an EDR, XDR, or a SIEM type solution. So what we're going to do is we'll bring that solution online. We'll put, say, a dashboard up on the big projection behind me. Only this time what we'll do is we'll say, okay, now we'll see what happens when we detonate the ransomware. So we'll take that same ransomware we just detonated earlier. This will be real ransomware. We play with the real stuff. We pull it off the dark web. So we detonate it, and now we'll say, hey, look at the alert that just popped up on that dashboard. Let's dig into it. And in a very short amount of time, we can isolate it and figure out, okay, yep, here's our problem. This is a rogue device in our network here. Let's isolate it, contain it, shut it down, and everybody else is protected. So when we have customers in here and we showcase that, we are using real ransomware, real malware that we're pulling off the dark web. We are using the real attacks that the bad guys would be using, and we show how the security solution stops those attacks from getting through. Then the customer's attitude really does shift from how low can I get the price of this to how fast can I get this into my environment, because we have just cut through that noise of that standard cybersecurity messaging and said, this is what will protect you. We have just shown it, shown what happens when it's subjected to the same attacks it's going to get when it's in your production environment and how it has saved you. So absolutely powerful tool. Now, as a result of that, we have, this is reported to us by our sales organizations, we have a 95% closure rate here in the cyber range when we are coordinating activities with opportunities. Okay, I'm sure any salespeople out there, you would love to have a 95% closure rate. Okay, it would just make your job really easy. So that is what we do here, and it's not because we stand up in front of the room and say buy this because of these reasons. It's here's what it does. Let us show you. So behind me, what we've also got here, and this is just an example of where we are in terms of our cybersecurity standing, is this is a live feed of attack data that is actually hitting us. So you're going to see all the lines kind of converging on a singular point in Arizona when it's actually kind of pulsing right now. And what that means, it's actually getting overloaded. There are over 1 million attacks that it's trying to render in the next minute. It's kind of overloading and choking up on that data. But you'll see a bunch of lines converging right on where Arizona is. And that is really because we are constantly under attack. In fact, according to the federal government, this facility right here is being attacked more than the federal government. So we've had not only met people from the government, but also government contractors in here. They've looked at the live data behind us and they've been like, hey, are you guys running a botnet that's running simulating attacks? And we're like, no, that's the real stuff. And they've said things like, if we saw that hitting us, we'd be calling everybody in here, we'd be laying out CODs. In our perspective, because we are so confident in the solutions and the abilities that we have, our response usually is, yeah, well, we're kind of hungry. Where would you like to go to dinner? Because that is just the way we've got everything set up here. Is we are very confident in our security standpoint, even to the point where these bad guys out there, this is China, this is Russia, they're coming at us. And we could actually call them up, give them our login name and password, and they're still not going to get in because of the solutions that we deploy within here. Next, we're going to walk over and take a look at our data center. So, and you can even see the third pod. All right, so I mentioned earlier about digital displays. So there is actually one right there. We can change that out to whatever logo we want it to be. Over my other shoulder here, so I just kind of walk around hit this pod. This is our data center here. Now, the TD SYNNEX Cyber Range, we are on our own separate network from the rest of TD SYNNEX, mainly because our own IT guys do seem to have a bit of an issue when we detonate WannaCry or other ransomwares and let them run free. So they gave us our own separate network. But what we utilize or do with that network is we bring in any of the cybersecurity solutions we showcase. We bring them into our data center and we will subject them to whatever attacks, either that we generate in here, or we might even expose them to those attacks that are coming in from the outside world. Now, as a service that we do provide to the vendors who come in here is that if we discover a vulnerability or an exploit, first thing we do is we report it right back to that vendor. We actually just did that last week. We were working with a vendor who had a data protection solution. We ran an attack and it bypassed what they had and just completely wiped the storage system. So the vendor, they naturally kind of freaked out about it, but we're like, hey, that's cool. That's why we're doing this in this safe environment. And so now we are having discussions with that vendor, showing them what we did, how we did it, how that exploit happened. So they are now able to work and address that and prevent that from becoming a 0-day level, CVE level 10 that would get published if it was found out in the wild. Another great aspect to our data center here is this is a place of innovation and multi-vendor solutions aggregation. The way we go about doing that is we've got partners sometimes that come to us and say, hey, I've got an idea for a particular full stack security solution. It spans multiple vendors, and we'll be like, great, bring it in here. We test it out, and we will subject it to the attacks, either what we generate, what's out there. It'll get updated, it'll get patched. We've had one particular partner come to us and had an idea for a private secure 5G solution. So we've actually got that deployed in there. We have 5G antennas up on the roof, constantly being attacked, put to the test, updated, patched. And when they bring their customers in here and they show them not only this facility, but the solution that they have and what they are doing to ensure its security, at that point, customers are like, okay, where do I sign the PO and get that over to you? It has generated hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue for them just in the year 2024. So a great way to help drive sales. Now, we're going to check out one more area of the cyber range. Okay. So where would a security center be without a security operations center? So this is our SOC, our security operations center. And this is where another area that we can do training for our partners and for our partners' customers to showcase security solutions, how they work, how they would work in an actual SOC environment. And I've got that attack map up on the display there, but on the monitors to the sides of it, that is actually the live feed data behind the attack map. So you might actually see like the attack map not really doing anything, but yet I got a screen here that's just going crazy. So that is just showing how the map, as I said earlier, it is actually choking up because of how many attacks are coming at it. So in our SOC trainings, what we might do is we could bring in a MSSP SOC team. We could say, they could say, you know what, I've got this excellent SOC team, but I want them to grow and maybe experience something that they haven't experienced yet. So we can bring them in here and we can say, okay, well, what tooling do you use? And they'll tell us what it is. We'll bring it online. And what we will say is, okay, let's run an exploit. We'll find an actual CVE out there that will get past that tooling. And so we'll run the exploit. And it's not to say to these people, oh, your tooling is terrible. It's more to say, look, these CVEs are out there. They are published, they are known, they exist, and the bad guys are going to use them. In fact, these days, the bad guys will even use AI to generate exploits specific to these CVEs. But when somebody is using one of these types of exploits to get around your infrastructure, to get around your what you've got in place, something will still show up. So let's look for that something. And so after the end of all of this, when these teams leave here, they might go back to their own environment. It's something that would have shown up on there that they might have dismissed being, oh, that's really minor. Now they might be thinking, okay, I've seen this before. This could be indicative of a bigger problem. Let's dig deeper into that and let us see if there's something else going on here. Another type of training that we do here is we do something called the incident response training. And this is like taking a tabletop exercise. We add some sort of choose your own adventure, role playing, Dungeons and Dragons type element to it. And then we amp it up 1,000%. As part of that training, people are going through a cyber attack and really like a worst case scenario cyber attack. And the idea behind that is so that way they can understand maybe there's a gap in their processes, maybe there's a gap in their tooling. And it's much better to understand that or learn about that through a training environment than in a real situation. In this training, it actually does get so intense that we have actually had people just suddenly go, you know what, that's it, I quit. And we're kind of like, whoa, time out. This isn't you're not actually quitting your real job, right? You're just quitting this training year because this is not your real organization burning to the ground around you. Now, as an example of how effective this has been, about a year ago, we actually did that training on site with the city of Los Angeles. We were in downtown LA with the city employees there, and we took them through that training. Now, within a week, the partner that brought us out there was quoting 2 $1 million SIEM solutions for the city of LA because they recognized gaps in their tooling. They also recognized gaps in their processes and what they needed to do to help fix that. Because also as part of that training, we did actually emphasize quite a bit that they were quite literally a target the size of Southern California. So they understood the severity of the situation after undergoing that training. Speaking of training, I'm going to do one slight pivot on the screen here. And go over to this right behind this door right here. So this here leads to a classroom that seats about 35, 40 people. And so that is another element that we have to help enable and drive training. One of the things that we can utilize with that classroom is we can bring people in there. They can do all the theory stuff. They can learn about the product, learn about the solution, do the death by PowerPoint, and then we can bring them in here to the main range space where they can then actually get their hands on it and play around with it, set it up, and then we can run an attack to see if they have actually learned what was presented to them and are able to successfully configure the solution. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I want to kind of open it up, see if there are any questions that's going on and anything top of mind for our audience.
I see one question over here. Richard, what is the process to get the product into the cyber range?
Yeah. So getting into the cyber range. So we have, so if a vendor is interested, first of all, that's great. We're happy to have you in here. We want to get as much cybersecurity solutions in here as possible. As I said, our motive is, or our mission is to move the needle of cybersecurity in a positive direction. So that comes through me initially. That's where the contact happens. And what we do is we go through a little bit of a governance process. We just want to understand, okay, what is the solution? What is its purpose? What are we, where it does it fit in the cybersecurity space? Also, when a product or solution is being brought into our data center, what is the ownership? What is the planned duration for it being here? What are the objectives around having it here? And we just build out the written documentation to understand all of that before we bring it in. It tends to be a little bit more involved for hardware solutions. Software solutions tend to go a lot easier because generally it's like, oh, well, you get a 1-year NFR license. Okay, well, the terms of the license are pretty clear cut. So that is the way we go about doing that. Now, once a solution is in here, and I do work with our vendors on this and say, look, you can't just put the solution in here and expect it to start selling. We have to coordinate that with events and activities. And so once we get that solution in here, that's when we want to start structuring some sort of an event, some sort of an activity. So that way we can drive an audience to the cyber range and be able to showcase that product, that solution, show how it works, and help drive that sales enablement of the product or solution.
All right, so I see another question. I think this is a logical next question. What are the costs associated with
So the costs, now, as far as getting product in here, there is no cost from our end. It's really just if it's a hardware solution or then that one, it's kind of like we would like it to just be brought in here, say under an NFR type terms, because this is more of a demo environment that's not going into production. So try to bring it in, product in under NFR type terms. And if it's a software solution, like I said, it's usually like an NFR license. Once we have the product in here and we're looking to do events, okay, we do bill our vendors for coordinating events. Now, each vendor is unique in their way about going about doing things. So, if it's a big player out there, somebody like a Microsoft or Cisco or somebody like that, yeah, we are going to definitely charge them for utilizing this facility. A lot of times when it's a newer, smaller vendor that's looking to grow in the cybersecurity space, and maybe they don't have the Microsoft type of dollars, that's where we will work out some sort of a way of saying, okay, we can do the event in here, but rather than say billing you for utilizing this space, we're going to want to see some sort of a sales generation as a result of the event here. So we can just show that, yes, this is driving sales revenue, because as a distributor of technology, as the world's largest distributor of technology, that is our main business, is selling the technology. So that's where we would work with the smaller vendors to say, okay, let's drive sales, and then we will make our money in that manner.
All right, I think I see another one here. Are there ways to utilize the cyber range without flying people across the country to Arizona?
Yeah, so first of all, Arizona is absolutely beautiful this time of year. So if you happen to be, let's say, in the DC area, it might be a little bit cold, but it's wonderful here in Arizona. But yeah, I do understand that sometimes there is a cost issue with flying, say, 20 people to come here to Arizona. Now, as a way around that is we have a couple of ways we can go about doing that. And one of them is just how I'm talking to you right now through this telepresence system. So we can do virtual events. We can do webinar type activity. Another way, and actually I think we're going to have to move this screen around so we can showcase this, we have what are called mobile ranges. And we're going to slide the screen around here and just sort of push it. All right, so I come this direction here. All right, so these are our mobile cyber ranges. So this particular one has traveled quite a bit. It has been out to DOTAS, to our public sector office in Virginia, out to AFCEA West, and is getting ready to go out again to the TD SYNNEX Red, White, and U conference. And so this is a way that we can project what we do here to anywhere within the 48 contiguous states. We do not do Alaska or Hawaii because it is a shipping challenge around that. And we also don't do Canada because Canada is just a massive customs mess trying to get it across the border. But anywhere within the contiguous 48 states, we are happy to be able to ship these out. Now, in regards to this, there are costs associated with these, and that is simply just to cover the cost of shipping the unit out on site, as well as the individual or maybe two individuals, depending on the type of event, to go out on site with it and manage it. But again, we are not marking that up. We are just basically saying, okay, this is what our cost is to be able to do this. This is what we need in order to cover it. But that is a great way, as it is definitely cheaper to get this box out to on location with one or two people rather than fly 20 people into Arizona. So that is certainly another way we can go about doing that.
Thanks, Richard. Any other questions? Take your time to put it in the chat. If you have any other questions, please do so at this time. Okay.
So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to ask Brent Scott. He is our Cyber Range director to come on screen and has been helping with moving the screen around. Oh, there. So Brent is he is the mastermind behind this cyber range, and he has also founded multiple nonprofit cyber ranges throughout the country, and their mission is to create the next generation of cybersecurity warriors and cybersecurity talent. Whereas this one, while we do a little bit of that, we are more driving focused on sales outcomes.
Absolutely. So we definitely would encourage you to engage with us and our team. We are 1%ers in cybersecurity. We actually work very closely with the intelligence community, and that is officially and unofficially. And that is because we are here in the middle of something that gets attacked a lot. We have a unique global perspective on what's happening out there. And as a direct result, we bring that knowledge to your audience. And so we're also able to speak to every different type of audience that's out there. And we have a lot of experience in dealing with both Fed, SLED, and all the other types of entities that are out there. So we can speak their language, understand exactly where they're coming from, firsthand knowledge. So it's a very unique confluence of 1%ing stuff in cybersecurity that we offer here.
Great. And I think we just have a couple of slides to show. Yep.
Yeah. So this is something that we can send out to you guys. This is our one pager here, and it just creates a kind of a summary, overall high level summary of what it is we do at the Cyber Range. So I'd mentioned the various trainings we do, how we do demonstrations, the engagement that we do in regards to support we provide for our vendors, and support we provide for our partners in building out new innovative technologies. And then the services part, the TD SYNNEX Cyber Range is part of the larger service solve organization within TD SYNNEX. So we are also able to work with our partners and our vendors and provide service offerings complementary to what they have in their own portfolio.
Next slide.
And yep, there's another couple of pictures of our cyber range here. Just so we got the hands-on classroom space there, and also our SOC space, which also says /meeting space. And actually, in that picture, it's in sort of the meeting layout. So we've done business meetings in there as well. And so the cyber range is also a great way of doing things like QBRs. You can bring everybody in here. You can do your QBR. We can have a little fun with a cyber range presentation or do some actual live attacks. One of the things we also do is we've actually taken people who are like executive level, C-level individuals. We brought them in here and we taught them how to become hackers. We showed them the exact tools that the hackers are using, that the bad guys are using out there, and what they're doing to attack their businesses or their organizations. And a lot of the feedback we get from that is, I had no idea how easy it is. And so that's where, yes, it is very easy for the bad guys. So we want to make it hard for them by utilizing the technologies and solutions that are available to us here.
All right, everyone, if there's no more questions, I think we'll call this one a wrap. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.